Welcome back, everybody, to Sogo Wowo. I am here now with Corey Burkett from Medicine Hat Motorcycle Service, and he has kindly agreed to chat with us about what it's like to be a motorcycle repair technician and a lot of what it takes to be one, the joys of it, and those types of things. So, Corey,
Yes.
first question. What got you into being a motorcycle mechanic?
Well, basically, when I was a kid, younger, watched all these other kids, older kids riding motorcycles. I thought, this would be awesome. I want a motorcycle real bad. Even before that, I was, fixing bicycles and taking apart stuff and never putting it back together.
Right.
But the motorcycle thing really intrigued me. My dad was more into the hot rod kind of thing. He was an airplane mechanic in the Air Force. So yeah, it was one of those things where watching my dad and doing things with my dad and being that guy that held the flashlight for my dad. You know
Right.
what I mean? Learn these things that way. But I always had this passion for motorcycles.
Similar path, but just kind of a different direction.
Well, yeah, I mean, he was a man of many different abilities, right? A
Right.
jack of all trades kind of thing. He was never really into the motorcycle thing, where I was just so intrigued by motorcycles just right from a young age, right?
I hear you. I love motorcycles. So
Yeah, absolutely.
that kind of answers why you picked this over the other trades as well. What would you say to the viewers? What gets you up in the morning? What do you love about being a motorcycle mechanic?
There's so many things. I mean, it's hard to put, your finger on one thing, but I wake up in the morning because this is a passion,
Right.
right? There's something about motorcycles and the motorcycle industry, motorcycle mechanicing, fixing and stuff like that, the riding, everything to do with it. When you go to a motorcycle shop, it's so much different. There's all these different people from all different walks of life, but they have this passion for motorcycling, for riding, for the sport, the industry, and everything. And it really is a family. So when I come here and I see people like yourself, you're a motorcycle rider, right?
Yeah.
And all these customers and the people that I get to meet, that I get to ride with, that we can, all these groups that do so much within the community as well, right? Raising money and doing things for all sorts of different organizations, whether they be nonprofit or profit. That's it gets me out of bed in the morning, gets me motivated. I've been here 22 years in this shop. I think I'm tapping on that 30-year mark of doing this professionally.
That's
and
awesome.
It never gets old.
Like, how many people can say that, really, that you do something for 30 years and you still, love it?
Yeah, and the industry is changing, the bikes are changing,
Oh.
and along with that, there's a customer that goes along with these things, right?
Yeah.
There's a personality that comes with it.
Absolutely.
So it's neat. You're not just working on this bike and that's it.
Yeah.
Right? There's a person or a personality that's going to jump on that thing and they're going to ride it and they're going to enjoy it. And it's not just for work. It's not just for commuting. It could be for just the passion of it. Right? There's so many things and aspects of the motorcycle world.
So you're actually kind of helping repair or bring back a family member almost in a lot of cases.
Yeah, sometimes. But then we get these things in here, these bikes in here and it's been in the family for a long time. My uncle rode this bike, or my dad rode this bike, or my mom rode this bike, or my aunt rode this bike, or whatever, right? And I want to bring it back up to being a roadworthy bike. And they say, I want to bring this thing right back to pretty much like brand new, or at least roadworthy. And that's pretty cool, because then I can say to that, ask these people, what do you want to get out of it? What do you want it to look like?
Right.
Do you want to make it like a rat rod? Do you want to make it nice and shiny? Do you want to make it back to original?
Right.
And we get to be part of that and do that for them, right? And the bonus is I get paid to do these things, right? It's my living, it's my lifestyle. So I can wrap that all together and enjoy that part of it. And who gets to do that in a daily job? Some people don't. They're locked into something that they go to, they make their money, and they go home, and that's it.
I like to keep things kind of real for the viewers too. So what would we obviously know there's some great positives, and we're going to touch on them some more. But what are some of the things that you would say would be the worst parts about being a motorcycle mechanic?
The worst part about being a motorcycle mechanic, what gets me frustrated, I guess, the bad part about it is, here's a job, it's supposed to take X amount of time, the customer's expecting an X amount of time,
right?
And I run into something that's unforeseen.
Right.
It's like, oh no, like
now it's
this
an hour,
this was supposed to be an hour job, now it's 2 hours, or this was supposed to be easy, and it's not.
I was trained as an automotive technician, and there's just times that things don't go well, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's not that it's a horrible day, but it's like any job. sometimes things don't go well, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
What would you say to convince someone who's kind of on the fence, possibly looking at some sort of mechanic or technician trade, but what would you say to convince them kind of to head towards the motorcycle end of it versus automotive or heavy duty?
Somebody getting into the motorcycle industry as opposed to heavy duty or automotive. It's not just a job, it's a passion, it's a lifestyle. And if you enjoy that part of it, this is, the motorcycle thing, that's what makes it so different. I know there's lots of guys that are in the heavy duty trade and they have their diesel trucks or whatever.
Yeah.
Lots of guys in the automotive trade and they have their hot
Race,
rods and stuff,
yeah,
and they race and stuff.
Yeah.
And there's that passion. With the motorcycles, it just seems to be that it's a different environment. And I guess the other part of it is we get to work in the shop. We're not outside. We're working on stuff that's smaller, lighter, a little bit simpler, maybe not as dirty, not as stinky. We don't have to go out in the field. If you work in a motorcycle shop and get into the motorcycle industry, most of the time, probably 99% of the time, you're working in a controlled environment.
Right.
It's warm in the winter, it's cool in the summer. You got good lighting, and if you don't, get yourself another light or whatever, or turn another light on. But
well, and like you said, it's smaller. Like honestly, you can lift an engine.
Yes, most of them you can by yourself, or two guys can do it, and that's what we do. We don't have the engine hoists and dollies and stuff.
They're not that dangerous.
They're not that dangerous that way. I mean, we could still lose digits and whatnot for putting our fingers in the wrong spot. But when I was working in automotive before I got into the motorcycle stuff, because that's the direction I started to go initially, and working underneath a car on a hoist in the wintertime.
Terrible.
It's dripping snow on you, and water's dripping, and it's cold, and everything is, and because of the environment the car or truck or whatever lives in, everything seems to be rusty or dirty, or they don't get maintenance as much. Motorcycles, you can polish and wash and get seem to be every nook and cranny.
Yeah.
And most motorcycles live in the garage or indoors or under cover, and they're babied.
Yeah,
most of them, and there's some stuff out there it's pretty rough. But all in all, twisting yourself under a dash of a car trying to get into some wiring, or being bent over the hood of something, or in the heavy duty industry and being outside in the elements all the time working on that stuff. Myself, I like to be inside with that climate control thing. So that's a perk or a bonus to my job, right?
I'm not gonna lie, Corey. If I was younger and someone like you had told me those things, I would have probably went to the motorcycle versus the automotive even.
Absolutely. But the downside of that though is that when you're working in the heavy duty industry or automotive industry, because of the situation scenario and even the risks are involved, the pay is a little bit higher.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it is.
So there's that part of it. Myself personally, and I can only speak for me, is that maybe I don't make as much money as the next guy, but I make a living.
Yeah.
Right.
And you love what you do.
And I love what I do. So I don't go home and complain about that I'm not making enough money. I don't go home and complain that I hate my job. I don't go home and complain about the weather.
Right.
I don't go home and complain of the conditions I was just working in. I don't go home and complain that I've been on the road for, days, weeks, or months or whatever. Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know where I'm going. I don't know what I'm doing in the day, but I know that I'm going to be working on a motorcycle or ATV or snowmobile. And some of the stuff that we work on, like these may not necessarily be cool. But there's some rides that come in here. It's just like, look at this, man.
Well,
this thing's awesome.
Your not your jet bike, but your
my drag bike.
Yeah, your drag bike, which is a helicopter turbine powered.
Well, that's the jet bike. Yeah, it's a helicopter turbine powered jet bike. The drag bike is in the back there that you've seen today as well.
Oh yeah, right.
But those are mine. I got to build those. That's something I did for myself. But as a motorcycle mechanic too, is that somebody will come in with their ride. Right. It's just really cool and wicked, and you get the opportunity to work on it. And a lot of times we get the opportunity to test drive them.
That's 100%.
I ride a lot of bikes. I put up a lot of miles in a year, but not on my own equipment, right? I don't test drive every single customer bike. I don't need to all the time.
Right.
Customers will ask to have a bike test driven, or we have to diagnose it,
right,
and then do the work and then ride it again to make sure that we've done a good job and everything's the way it should be. And I'm telling you a little secret. There's sometimes where that part of the job is the funnest part of the day.
Oh, for sure.
Man, I can't wait to jump on this thing because this is a really cool bike. I've never had the opportunity to ride one, and I can go out there, ride it, and enjoy it.
What would you look for? Like, what are you looking for in a new hire? Because I always a lot of the people that watch this channel are that they're trying to get into the trades, or they're looking at getting into the trades, and well, they put out resumes, but they don't have any experience. And so what, like, how can they, what are you looking for?
Well, I mean, obviously, I'm looking for somebody that has that natural mechanical ability.
What if they didn't though, but they were eager?
Well, the eager and the good attitude and good work ethic, which is
Show up on time.
yeah, all of the above. Show up on time. Come here with a good attitude, just ready to go and eager and to try almost anything in a sense, right?
Right.
Then the attitude. Who wants to work with the grumpy Gus all the time?
Oh,
Right. So
no,
if somebody's going to
that's
come in and start working and they're just rubbing everybody the wrong way or they don't have a positive attitude. When I started, obviously I did, you're going to do tire changes and oil changes.
yeah,
And
yeah,
now you're going to do valve adjustments and then you're going to, and progressively move on.
yeah. But you have to learn the basics.
You have to learn the basics. Yeah. You got to crawl before you walk.
And I know a lot of, and we were there too. When you're younger, you want to get doing that exciting stuff right
Oh,
away,
absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
But without the basics, without understanding how stuff actually works together, you're not going to be able to fix this one because you won't know this part, right?
Absolutely. Everybody's got to start somewhere.
Yeah, you have to build from the bottom up.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Yeah.
And that's what the trades is. Well, blue collar is basically that's what it is, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
You start at the basics and then you progress. What would a first year make, and what would they do? Like, just we kind of talked about starting at the basics, but what would, like, to give them an idea of what a first year would actually do as a motorcycle mechanic, what would they do?
Well, the pay scale is set for the apprenticeship program. The apprenticeship, when you sign up and you're in the apprenticeship program, first year makes a percentage of journeyman wage.
Right.
Second year makes a higher percentage.
Right.
There's those people that could come in and is like, this person is like awesome. They deserve more.
Right.
I can pay them more if I want to, right?
Right.
Or, hey, yeah, they're right where they should be. And
every bike shop you go to, there's like hiring signs.
There's hiring
for
signs.
mechanics,
Absolutely. Right? And most of them, unfortunately, they're looking for mechanics or somebody that has, third or fourth year
Right.
experience. So it's tough for the young people to get into the industry with little to no skill and walk in the door and go, okay, I want to be an apprentice.
But that being said, as you said earlier, and what I've spoken about on previous videos, good attitude and enthusiasm will go a long ways. I have a question that I asked the previous interview, and so I'm trying to kind of push this, or I guess at least ask people if they're open to it, because I personally, and this is just me, but I personally believe that resumes are long overdue for a revamp, or basically not even use them in a sense anymore, or use them at least only with what I would like to see happen is, say someone, maybe they come from a white collar home, but they want to do work like this, so they don't have a whole lot of background.
Right.
But what they want to do is they want to show you that they have enthusiasm and passion.
Right.
So my thing is like a YouTube video.
Mm-hmm.
They do something and show their enthusiasm, and then just send you the link. And the reason I'm pushing this, Corey, is because I firmly believe in these types of blue collar jobs, there's a lot of very good people being overlooked. A lot of people see a spelling mistake on the resume, it's in the guard. But what if that candidate is your best?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean. Yeah.
You've just thrown away your best candidate over a spelling mistake.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's definitely a good idea. I never even gave it any thought at all. I never even thought of it that way. If somebody sent me a video or YouTube style resume,
right,
doing something themselves, or
well, then you get even a feel of their personality. And
you would. Yeah, that's a great idea, great concept. It's probably been probably out there for some.
It is becoming more and more predominant, even for the bigger corporations, because they're trying to figure out how to get over this resume hump too, right? It's a thing that's been actually, from what I can research, but resumes are essentially almost 100 years old, if not a little bit over 100 years.
Yeah,
I think it was in the mid-20s, honestly, when they started doing those types of things to get a job. And of course, it's become more. So it's a little outdated, is what I'm saying.
Oh,
right?
You're absolutely right. And most of the hiring that I hear going on, that it's not so much what you know, it's who you know. A person came in here, how would I know what they're about if nobody really knows who they are or knows them, or I don't know. Obviously, I don't know them. Here's a YouTube link, and this is a Here's my YouTube resume.
Right.
That would be, I would be like, yeah, that's a great idea.
You know, maybe they don't have anyone to proofread. You know, maybe they're by themselves and they're new to this town and they are
Yeah.
literally just trying to make it.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. And so
sure.
they missed that spelling mistake, but they could be the best darn worker you've had
You're
in
absolutely
years.
right. I get resumes here, and I don't throw them out for spelling mistakes, but sometimes they're pretty dry, and there's not enough on there. It just looks boring, and it's not exciting, and really, not that that person is boring and not exciting, but the resume, like you said, it's outdated. Yeah,
This has been great, Corey, and I appreciate you taking the time to sit
yeah,
with us
yeah.
and give our viewers, kind of an insight of what's fun and awesome about being a motorcycle mechanic or technician, and why have a look at it. If you
Yeah.
feel like you like motorcycles of any type, maybe motorcycle technician or mechanic is the career path for you. We thank Corey and Medicine Hat Motorcycle Service
Yes.
for taking the time. We're putting up their contact information right now. If you need anything serviced or repaired, Corey is definitely capable of doing it. He's in the back there. He's got every type of brand of motorcycle that I am
I
aware
got a
of.
good team as well.
This is the place to come to get your stuff repaired. So thank you, Corey. We
No problem.
appreciate
Thank you.
you sitting with us.
Well, thanks for coming.
Yeah, no, it was my honor. So see you guys on the next one.